Well, we're live. And Dianne, thank you so much. I'm so deeply grateful for the opportunity to have a brief interview with a famous rock star, but also somebody who's on our advisory committee. So thank you for
You,
joining me.
you're welcome.
I don't know if all of our listeners know so much about your background, but you are so accomplished. We can see behind you some of the trophies that you've achieved through your career, but maybe you could start by just telling a little bit about how you got involved in music and the kinds of things that you've done.
Absolutely, Lawrence. Starting back when I was young, I was in Christian music, and my very first album is a vinyl record called Child of the King. And I recorded it up in New York, and it was mastered in Nashville. I got to meet a gentleman, went to get mastered. Was underage. I was 16 years old at the time. Got a call from Richard Kalanzi, and he was a famous promoter. He worked for Decca Records. Friend at the mastering studio called him and said, "You got to come down and hear this lady, this girl." So then we got a call, but I had to have my mom drive me to Nashville because I was underage, and so I performed in Music City Hall when I went, and I also performed at Richard's church because he loved the Lord. He was a Christian. So from there, I launched me off on the radio, and that's. But before that, I had been trained classically on the piano. I was the piano guild till I was 23.
Wow.
Um, yeah, I think I had a little bit too much of a rock heart in me. The classical people and the teachers and judges didn't quite appreciate me remaking Bach's, in my style. I left the guild, but I continued on recording music and I created an entity. Left secular music, Christian music, about the same time that Amy Grant crossed over.
Uh-huh.
I left, I started writing all sorts of music, but primarily rock, metal, goth. And even came up with a character by the name of Sarah de Morte, which means Night of Death. But she was a good soul.
Uh-huh.
It got me into some of the clubs to play and wrote some pretty music, but a lot of them hit the radio and flew. I have two Sarah de Morte albums, and one's called Magic, and the other one is Dance. Um, then I have one under my real name, Dianne Mink, over on the far right, and that's my Read My Mind album. That's a AC pop album, though. And then on the far left, it's the band I had called the Stiff Kitties. It's a hit on there called Bleed Me. And Maya's Book of the Dead is the title of the album. So I was all over the map when it
So,
came to genre.
so those are four platinum albums that you had.
Yes, sir.
Amazing. So,
Lots of independent awards. I don't even have them all up on the
sure.
wall. Anyways, that's how I got started, and one thing led to another. My late manager, my friend Raymond McGlamory, was the VP over at Warner. Left, and stumbled onto one another, and he started managing me. He passed away a couple years ago, which was really sad. But I got to meet lots of famous people. Tom Jones, Brian May, you know who that is, right? From Queen.
Yes.
Uh, he was very good friends with Kiss. Um, like I said, I went behind stage and took pictures of him and Gene. They were warming up. No, I mean, I have had a colorful time. Back in the day when I was learning how to play and how to record, worked with some people that worked with Elvis.
Uh-huh.
We used to play their living room, and I lived in Florida for a while, and I'd get invited over for dinner, and after dinner we would all sit around and play music. So I got a chance to meet some very important people in the industry that knew people like Patsy Cline. Yeah. I was a lot younger than them, but Miss Diane, get me a bottle of water, or can you get me a guitar string, or you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Was their helper, but I learned a lot at their feet.
Amazing. Yeah, you're such a versatile and amazingly talented person. But the thing that struck me the most about you since we've gotten to know each other is your heart. You, of all the people that I reached out to be on our advisory committee, you are the most concerned, the most caring, the most inspired about potential of peace arts, and you've got a beautiful, amazing heart. And anyway, maybe you can talk a little bit about you caring for the world, which I think is at the essence of peace starts.
Yeah, and I think it does start in a spiritual realm. As far as the loving of the Lord, yeah, that's been my whole life. Gave my heart to Him a long time ago. I mean, I made mistakes. We all do, right? Um, I got some flack when I left the Christian music industry, but I felt I took my ministry off that platform and into the alternative platform because some of those people wouldn't necessarily go to a church to sing hymns, you know, but they needed to know Lord as well. I love when we can bring people together. That's the beauty of music. We can bring people together. It's amazing how all different walks, just like when you go to a concert, you have so many different kinds of people there. And that opens doors for opening hearts.
Yeah. Music is an aspect of our awareness, of our experience that connects deeply to our heart, directly to our heart. People are not only touched by music, they're moved to action. Feeling, experience can be changed through a song. People can be brought to tears by music. So when we're deeply touched by something, then we're moved to act. We're moved to change the way we see the world. Music is so powerful. It's so profound. To learn more about Peace Stars, please visit peacestars.tv, and we hope you'll make a contribution of any size to help us to complete our pilot video featuring two fabulous artists in northern Nigeria. Thank you so much. So I know that you're also an artist, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Can you speak a little
yeah.
bit about that?
Yeah, the was 20s. I actually my manager I had at that time introduced me to a gentleman that was an art collector, um, Bandenhool. There's an article out there about I did for him. Um, had the only real original collection of Jimi Hendrix's artwork, and they were fine artwork. And he had stumbled upon it. He went to a auction. It was this trailer inside. Nobody knew what it was, but it was Jimmy's trailer that he pulled around with him. And he bought the trailer. They opened it up, and inside there was a chest full of his artwork. So I got a chance to help, and we scanned in all this artwork, and then I started one piece at a time and kind of breaking it up. I spent 7 years as their branding artist before, and then Bliss unfortunately passed away. His son took it over, kind of directions. So it was a wonderful experience. I'll never forget staring and going close in on his artwork and seeing the strokes. I could see the strokes that he made. It kept me up for hours.
Was he self-trained or did he actually study art as well as music?
He wanted to be an artist, according to Leon, his brother. That was his first love. He and he wasn't trained, but in the back there. I have one piece of that painting I did over my desk right now, where it shows him sitting behind a stage, and you can see their van outside the loading dock. It says the art of Jimi Hendrix on it, and he's sitting there sketching, and that's what he loved to do. His quiet time.
Amazing. You have a website where people can see your art and some of the things that that maybe you helped to catalog, and
Yeah,
also where people can your music as well?
I have both up, and it's up on diannesmusic.com. That's Dianne with two N's, Diannes music.com.
Are you currently doing more music now? Or are you just full-time doing your building renovation for the federal government?
Yeah, do a little bit on the weekends. Work with a friend of mine. He's a drummer. He's a real dear friend of mine, out of California. And we work on mixing and mastering and actually working with other artists. Like one artist I have right now, she's a Christian artist that stumbled into her. She has quite the catalog. We're just starting the road with working with her. I'm teaching her how to copyright her stuff. What I see most is the artists, they don't think about those things and how important they are to protect their work. So I'm
Right.
teaching that, but I also paint myself as a way to relax.
That's great. And as someone who has lived through the transition of the music industry from hard physical to streaming, totally a different industry than it used to be. Can you speak a little bit about that and how that impacted your career?
Yeah, it was quite impactful. I was back on the days of real radio. Was up in the top 40 with Perry, and name it. When it went fully digital, I think we lost a lot. Now artists, it's harder for artists to build a resume, if you will, now
Hmm.
because the digital's like all over the map. Yeah, so and then what we've also lost is like the Rolling Stones bands. You know what I mean? We don't. Where's the Rolling Stones of today, right? Missed that opportunity to have these bands to look up to. And I think that the digital in that way has made the market rough for the artist, more competitive. They make it seem like it's easier to get out there, but it's also easier to get lost.
Right. And from where I sit, unless you have a huge fan base and you're out there touring 200 nights a year, which is really not a lifestyle as far as
Yeah.
uh, how do you make money in this? Few people who make some money, and everyone else, they need to be remodeling federal buildings in order to survive.
Yeah, if you do everything right, doesn't mean you're going to get paid correctly. Leave it at that. Yeah, and I'm
It's
a bit of a renegade when it comes to wanting to tell the truth. So, and not everybody likes that.
um, is there anything that you want to share with our audience from your perspective about the significance of Peace Stars and what we're trying to do?
Yeah, I'd like to see is it grow. I think right now everybody's struggling. What's going on in our world right now? I would encourage to follow the Lord, stay vigilant, and don't be so quick to judge one another because we all have our own story, right? So I'm hoping and I'm praying that Peace Stars will really take off and that music, as of past in my growing up years, will begin to bring us together instead of tear us apart.
Yes, from your lips to God's ears. Uh, I think this is going to be uh, there that we do really break through everything that I see. So I'm very excited, and I'm so
Yeah,
excited to be able to work with you. You bring so much experience and so much understanding to this industry. So I'm so grateful.
I'm grateful for you too, Lawrence. I'm glad we met.
Take
Grateful,
care.
very grateful. Hey, you too.
To learn more about Peace Stars, please visit peacestars.tv, and we hope you'll make a contribution of any size to help us to complete our pilot video featuring two fabulous artists in northern Nigeria. Thank you so much.